Are you creative? Sometimes I feel like I am creative, but sometimes I feel like I'm not. Oftentimes we categorize people as creative or not creative. We think that painters are creative and accountants are not. Since the beginning of our careers, especially in the design field, we are always being told, you gotta be creative. But what does that really mean? What is creativity and why is it so hard to be creative? Today guys, I want to share with you what no one tells you about creativity. What is up everybody? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. If it's your first time here, my name is Andrea, and in this channel I talk about interior design. So if that's something that you're into, do not forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so that you don't miss any of my videos. Okay guys, so on today's video, I'm going to be telling you what no one tells you about creativity. So if that's something that you are interested in, to keep watching and let's get right into it. If I were to give a definition, I would say that it's the production and execution of original ideas. Basically having the ability to create. The power of creativity is inherent to our human nature, which means we all have the tool from which creativity is born, the brain. So basically, creativity is a human skill, but the problem is that not everyone sees this skill as a fundamental skill in their lives, which means that people do not train their creativity and they assume that they are not creative. The way that your brain executes creativity is pretty simple. Your brain takes something that it already knows and it attempts to combine it in a new way. But the problem with this approach is that your brain cannot create something out of nothing. Your brain takes whatever it has in its memory system to be able to create a new version of that something. So this really leaves us with one conclusion. Your level of creativity will depend on the amount of information that your brain stores in its memory system. For example, let's take the word chair. You think of this or something similar. You know that you sit on it and you know that it has 4 legs. In our brain, the concept of chair relates to similar associations to what we know as a chair. And basically, the first thing that you think of when you think of the word chair are called the close associations. But most of the time, these associations are what prevent our brain from thinking of newer associations, which in other words is getting more creative. So really, to get creative around a subject or a concept, you need to fight your brain and force it to think beyond those close associations that it already knows. And this leads us to another conclusion, which is getting creative takes a lot of time and thought. So whenever you think that you are running out of creativity, the only thing that you're running out of is time. So how to be creative? The first thing that you gotta do is develop a concept around your idea. So if you're designing space or a piece of furniture or whatever your niche is, you have to make this brainstorm of ideas around your subject matter. I earlier referred to this as associations. The first associations that are going to come to your mind when you think of your subject matter are the close associations. Staying within those are going to prevent you from getting creative. So whenever you're brainstorming your ideas, try to go far beyond those associations. Try to brainstorm as much as you can around your subject matter, because this is really going to be the start of your creativity. This is really where your creative mind is going to wake up. So if you think that you're not getting creative enough around your subject matter, if your knowledge around that subject is limited, the first step into unleashing that creativity is to provide your brain with more information about that specific subject. In other words, this is what we call research. For example, in the interior design industry, whenever we are designing space, we gotta do a deep research about the concept of the space that we are designing. Once our brain has enough information, it'll start developing creative concepts around our subject matter. Okay guys, so now I want to give you some tips of the creative process and things that have really helped me scale up my creativity. The creative process is a marathon rather than a sprint, so to speak. It's a long process, and as we develop our creativity, our ideas will change and evolve. And because of this long time frame, we gotta take a break from our creative process. Try not to fix your ideas on one concept, and rather try to see things from different perspectives. And most importantly, give your brain time to process your work. A lot of the times, the greatest ideas will pop up in your mind after you go for a walk, or after you take a bath, or you go to an art exhibition, rather than staring at your work for long hours. Sharing your creative ideas with other creative minds will allow you to expand and further develop your creativity. Receiving feedback can lead you in the right direction and can also speed up your creative process. Marie Curie had a very famous saying, which was, "Be less curious about people and more curious about ideas." The practice of curiosity will be beneficial to your knowledge, and in result, it'll be beneficial to your creativity. Getting curious about other designers' work, artists, painters, history, literature, really anything that you can expand your knowledge in, it'll feed your brain with information that your creative mind can benefit from later on. The creative process should really be a hot mess. It's only from the random flow of ideas that our concepts will actually start taking shape. For me, the best way of practicing imperfection is sketching. I find that grabbing a pen and a piece of paper, and I say a pen because I never like to use pencil or eraser, because with a pen, you cannot erase what your hand sketches from the very first moment that the pen touches the paper. So this is the imperfection that I'm talking about, and this is the messiness that will actually help us to develop our ideas and to unleash our creative mind, because any obscure notions and abstract lines can later become into concepts. I once read in an article that you cannot improve something if you do not let it exist in its imperfect form. Okay guys, so my last piece of advice for you is practice your creativity every single day of your life. It doesn't matter if it's at work or if it's in a hobby that you practice, but treat it as a fundamental skill that you want to improve on and that you have to train in order to make it better. Try to always have your mind thinking of ideas, of new concepts, and have fun with it. So that is a wrap. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and I hope that you found some value from it. I will see you guys on the next one. Bye bye.